Howdy there, y'all. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a very special video. Today we are looking back on one of my favorite albums of all time as it turns 15 years old today. This is my throwback review of 1X, the sophomore magnum opus by Canadian hard rock legends 3 Days Grace. Turns 15 years old as it was released on June 13th, 2006. Aside from VH1 and TRL, I never actively sought out 3 Days Grace until my sophomore year of high school. From there, they became a staple in my rotation, and as I was getting into more heavier genres like metalcore, even deathcore, and just heavy metal in general, they weren't a gateway band, but they were more of a transitional stepping stone, a happy medium between the pop and country I was raised on and the new, heavier, brooding stuff I was now getting into in my later high school years and my adolescence. And 3 Days Grace definitely connected with me on a very resonant and emotional level. Lead singer Adam Gontier has an amazing story of discovery and personal fulfillment and battling his own demons, and the emotional weight that he carried into that album and these lyrics still resonates and hold up to this day, and I'll forever be captivated by his story and how it brought 1X to fruition. 3 Days Grace was coming off 3 years of extensive touring behind their very successful self-titled debut album when lead singer Adam Gontier developed an addiction to the prescription painkiller Oxycontin, entered himself into rehab, and penned lyrics that would appear on 1X just several months later. His story of battling his personal demons, not knowing himself anymore, it struck a chord not just with me, but listeners and fans across the globe. A question I have for you guys is, what makes an album special? Your mileage may vary, but for me, a few mitigating factors are universal. For one, it has to connect with me on some emotional level, but also it has to be performed well enough to the point where I can revisit it years later and still prefer it to the kind of content that's being churned out today. 3 Days Grace's 1X still does that for me, and I have yet to find reason to not come back to it. From the brooding opening moments of It's All Over, it's quite evident that Adam has gone somewhere deep to bring these lyrics to life. It almost seems like he's taunting the listener with these lyrics, but it could very well be himself, the man in the mirror he's calling out to. Pain sees Adam's tortured soul at odds, obviously longing for recompense, but also conflicted and seeming to relish in the anguish at the same time. Barry Stock's crunching riffs and Neil Sanderson's drumming carried this track one of the band's catchiest along. Animal I Have Become is straight out of the depths of hell, written specifically by Adam about his experience with drug abuse and his own personal demons. So what if you can see the darkest side of me, he taunts the listener before putting out to them, help me believe it's not the real me, somebody help me tame this animal I have become. The anthemic Never Too Late sees Adam less concerned with combating his own struggles and more with lending a helping hand to those out there who are just like him. The wistful solemnity can't go unnoticed, but it's through this track that a glimmer of light creeps its way through the shadows, and I feel that's why this song is so universal. At their lowest point, anyone can take solace in these lyrics, and I think that's what sets 3 Days Grace apart from their contemporaries. On My Own sees Gontier vowing to forge ahead with his life and to do better, while Riot is a fun, up-tempo release of some of the angst and aggression that's been built up to this point. The cryptic cautionary tale Get Out Alive is almost left entirely up to the listener's interpretation. Whatever vice or struggle you're dealing with, Gontier urges the listener to run for your life, backed up by Brad Walsh's eerie bass and Barry Stock's ominous riffs, and a production value that almost heightens the tension of this track. Let It Die sees Adam breaking away from someone who he knows is toxic for him, bluntly proclaiming, I just don't care about you anymore. Adam has visibly changed over the 8 tracks we've trekked through thus far, changing from someone who was crying out for help anywhere he could, and now being a voice of reason, lending advice and encouragement to the listener. Over and over, however, shows that it's easier said than done to just shake away your inner struggles, and I dedicated this to many crushes in high school. I will tell on myself like that. So here I go again, chasing you down again. Why do I do this? And again, it's relatively open-ended. It's another mid-tempo jam where the listener is allowed to dedicate the woeful lyrics to whatever they feel they should, be it a drug, an addiction, a former flame. The crestfallen admission of loving what you know you shouldn't love makes for one of the highlights of 1X and one of the, still to this day, one of the most lyrically resonant songs in the 3 Days Grace canon. Time of Dying trades lyrical introspection for a chance to just jam out, not to toil with simplicity, but this is just a goddamn banger, and the fun, rollicking energy makes it a rightful fan favorite. Adam's smooth, raspy vocals are perfectly suited for the composition, and the blistering instrumentals aid him in this effort, and it's another rightful album highlight. Gone Forever sees Adam bidding a final farewell to the demons that have tried to haunt him throughout his own personal progression over the course of the album. And then we get to the closing title track, 1X. 1X is an uplifting call for unity by Adam to those around him, backed by smooth bass lines and some ebullient lead guitar from Barry Stock. It's another chance 3 Days Grace takes to let the listener know they're not alone, and it closes 1X out on the best terms possible. 1X is a masterpiece, and I highly doubt a band in mainstream rock, including 3 Days Grace themselves, can ever come close to topping this again. The band didn't skim through a thesaurus to figure out how to beat the listener over the head with the lyrical content and mastery of the English language. Instead, they, namely Adam, of course, channeled their own personal struggles and molded them into a beacon of hope for listeners who may be contending with the same things. I know I certainly was. The emotional weight of the album is the bedrock for what makes 3 Days Grace so special and stand alone in their genre. And 1X in particular is an album I'll personally be forever grateful for, but I'll also always be eager to revisit it. Not only are the songs performed so well and easy to listen to, but the lyrics age like a fine wine and can be applied to any life situation, even as you grow older and confront new challenges. 1X is easily one of my favorite albums of all time, and it gets a perfect 5 out of 5 from me. That's going to do it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Smack the like button if you did. Leave a comment with your favorite 3 Days Grace song, particularly from 1X, in the comment section down below. Hit the bell to get notified the next time a video goes up, and make sure you subscribe because we got plenty more special content coming your way very soon. And I'm going to go listen to Time of Dying about 12 times. See ya.